Evening all, welcome to Kicking Dust. Right, we're going to subtitle this episode, Pyrex is a slippery bugger and impossible to be caught. Because, although ironically I die straight at the start. Good start. Anyway, the purpose of this video is, I guess, to show you maybe, I think, some of the evasion tactics that are going on. Now, it's always interesting. You should always analyze, new word. You should always analyze your enemy to see really what they're running as a fit. And what we found with these guys is, I think it was a bit of a mixed bag of what the French and Prima Gallicus. So we know that they generally favour heavies with heavy machine guns and you know, that kind of thing. Not totally, but generally that's what they run. Now, that's incredibly good information. And we always have this big joke about the Rolodex, as in you get to know players and you get to know roughly what they're running. So anybody who sees me in a you know, barge readiness shot probably knows that I'm going to run a scout with a shotgun, flaylock or similar. So, you know, you get used to it. And what we find is we start to kind of pick up certain names, so therefore you understand the tactics we can do. And the primary one here, I'd say, is Evasion. Now, let me explain what I mean. A scout, in my mind, should be always on the periphery. They shouldn't be responding to any orders. They should be completely free-forming and roaming and really looking to cause trouble. Now, again, with 16v16 matches, the best thing you can do is have one guy tie up 5 of theirs, or even more. And that's effectively what we started to do, or rather this video certainly is about, is this kind of ability to get into an area, make the enemy see you, so you're very high visible. And it's my old thing. I mean, I hope you've seen some real videos where I just run through a group of people, I shotgun 2 or 3 on the way, kill 1 or 2, then run out the other end. And their entire team turns and then comes after me because A, they're morons, and B, they're morons. And that's the beauty of this this tactic, because what you find is that people are very singular in this game, and what they'll do is if they see you, they will run at you. And because most of them are thinking, I'm a big heavy dude with a heavy machine gun, and that's just a weak little scout. Oh, how wrong they are. And I think really we look for these kind of people. And I think in this map, we have certainly found a number of players who are going to be like that. There is this assumption that a heavy machine gun is going to beat a scout every time. And, you know, I hate to break it to you, but it really does depend on the skill of the players. You know, pretty much a scout suit will kill anything. And vice versa, you know, anything will kill a scout suit. But it's all to do with how good is that person with this. And to me, you know, I'm pretty good with scout suits because I understand the evade game quite well. It's really about, and again, I do play that card quite heavily. So we always have a squad of 6. And what I'll generally do, and it's kind of the unspoken rule, but what I'll do is I will run into scenarios, get people to understand I'm there, then basically say, you know, right, there's no one at B. Okay, right, they're all at B. Whatever it may be. But here is a great example. I'm not actually looking to maybe hack here. What I'm looking to do is to say, come at me, bros. Come on. You know, here I am. Come get me. And it's a beautiful thing. Now, again, it's always a tricky thing to survive massed gunfire, and I obviously balls up that one, but that was just getting me iron, and here we go. So, you know, good spawn points, thanks to Hinox for this. And this is where, again, we pretty much were in control of this entire map from the get-go. They may have thought they were winning, even at certain points, but the reality is they were not. They were where we wanted them to be pretty much throughout. And that was pretty, you know, again, obvious by the way that they were playing. They didn't really, I think they were trying to be tactical. I think they were trying to kind of use some skills and such. But the reality is that we pretty much had them where we wanted them throughout the whole match because we were able to herd them. Now, some of you will laugh your balls off at this concept of herding players. And if you've never done it or if you've never seen it, then fair enough. You know, you may laugh at me, but there is the possibility to herd players in this game, and it's actually very, very powerful. It's an incredibly good tactic, and it's all to do with usually how desperate they are to kill you. Flaylocks, and this is why I guess I'm a bit sort of miffed that the flaylock is going, because it's going to be hard to replicate this tactic with shotguns. It's not impossible, but it's harder. But basically a scout suit, or even just any suit effectively, can run into an area, get the group's attention, then retreat or you know, basically skit around them, you know, strafe around them, whatever it may be. But at every point you're completely keeping their focus on you. And what you then start to do is you start to retreat, and then they come towards you. Now what you'll find is some teams aren't stupid, and they will say, okay, well no, don't leave the objective. So they'll start to return back to A, and that's when you hit them again. You come in and you're actually trying to make them mad. you literally want them to rage at you, because then they lose all semblance of control and orders, and they will just come at you. And I think hopefully you're seeing this in this, is that, you know, we knew the battle was always going to be a ping pong between A and B. So we had people on periphery getting C and D and keeping them Rs, not all the time, but majority Rs. And what we were doing is we were literally pulling them away. So every time they grouped up, like at the moment they are all at A. So what we're doing is we're pulling back, and here we go. So we're trying to kind of run through them, get them angry, get them to follow us, and here we go. Look at this, and boom. So this is a fantastic tactic, and it's a very difficult one to articulate, but hopefully you're seeing it, because it's not just a slugfest. This was literally, right, they're at A, let's push them at A, and right, what we've got now is we've got people moving towards B and so on. So it's a really nice tactic, and you can see I just ran straight through a group of people there, getting them angry, getting them focused, getting them want to come kill me, and then I can basically do a sneak hack, or I can go and rush somewhere else, and blah blah blah. And it really is a wonderful little game that we play. Doesn't always work. Sometimes you get completely owned. If there's got a lot of explosives or a lot of fluxes, that's when it causes problems. But basically, yeah, it's, you know, it's pretty good fun, I must admit. So I think generally what we try and do with these kind of matches is really, I think, just infuriate them to the point where we're always kind of attack retreat, and then really, you know, anything like that. So if we see a Logi suit, we go for it and you kill it quickly, but then you get the hack quick. So in this case we've got A, so now what we do is we then try to bottle them in at B. Now again, this is the evade tactic, this is the diversion tactic. It's basically I now rush to B, and then I just become a very high visual target at B. So here we go, not looking to even shoot anyone, I'm actually looking to get all of their attention, to stop any counter attack on A, and basically just literally skirt around. If I get a quick and easy kill, I'll take it, but again, I'm not looking to do anything more than allow our team to secure A, which they've done, and really just keep the enemy's focus at B. Now this is I know this is probably a revelation to some, and I know it's probably not to others, but this is incredibly satisfying gameplay that I think this is why I fear changes. Don't get me wrong, I think nerfing and changing is actually good for the game. I do really agree that. And yeah, the Flaylock needs changing because it's just too good. But what I would say is a shame is that this method of gameplay, where you can basically kite and scout and tempt and lure, is going to disappear, because everybody basically is going to be running, you know, high hit point suits with low damage DPS, well, not low damage, but, you know, high rate firing but low damaging guns. So there's not really going to be any kind of shock and awe anymore unless you use a forge gun, which is ridiculous. So to be honest, I do fear this kind of gameplay becoming obsolete. Okay, and it's such a shame because it's such a fragile concept already. I mean, again, hopefully you can see all I'm doing is evading, and I've kept it all one shot, and literally I've just kept, you know, a high percentage of their team completely focused on me, trying to kill me, pulling them further and further away from B, and it worked an absolute treat because we were basically farming them quite nicely at this point. I recommend these tactics, I really do, but I think, you know, maybe things like the mass driver will continue to be your shock and awe weapon, but I do worry that there's not going to be the kind of fluid, you know, kind of gameplay that's coming. I do worry that everybody generally, I mean, 90% of the players generally run, you know, an assault suit or a, you know, a Logi suit or whatever it may be, but they run the medium and heavy frames. Not many run scout, and I think a lot of people maybe don't understand what it is that is so compelling about the scout suit with the Flaylock or the shotgun. And the reality is if the shotgun worked like it did in Chromosome, I would have ditched the Flaylock a long time ago. But it doesn't. The shotgun is not fit for purpose. It doesn't have easy controls that flow, you know, as you would expect a shotgun, which is Twitch gameplay. Do you know what I mean? It's all about Twitch gameplay. It's not there. So there we go, we just waited, we kited, we killed a few people, then we waited for that orbital, and then we redlined them, and that's pretty much job done. And again, close match, don't get me wrong, it was a, you know, very hard fought match, but I do believe we were in control of it pretty much throughout. You know, we even allowed, like, you know, objectives not to be taken, because if you redline too early, you then lose what could have been quite a good fun match. So there is always this desire, if you like, to to keep the enemy engaged, and have a spawn point. I know that's kind of crazy to a lot of people, but we have got to the point where we won't hack something so that it ensures the team keep coming, because there are so few matches in the game which are really fun. They're either complete walkovers or we get walked over, and I think this is why it's a wonderful kind of situation to have these kind of games. So you should always do everything you can not to almost to kind of pre-engineer them, and I think the best way to do that is always going to be through leaving your enemy an entry into the map. So there we go. Interesting one, I think. I think, to be honest, the evolution of the scout suit is going to go back to shotguns. I did have a bit of a play with shotguns a few matches ago, and they were actually pretty good. They were okay, but again, it just still felt a little bit impossible to aim. It felt as if you were, your mouse sensitivity was fluctuating as you're moving it around, which is obviously lunacy. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. Just a quick shout out, squadb.com is live. If you want to go and check any video that we've ever done on this channel, just go to squadb.com and they are all there, with reference to even dust, that is. We haven't done the others yet. Twitter, there's a fair bit of Twitterage going on, so if you have a Twitter account, sign up and come have a conversation with me about butts or kittens or something. And then finally, like.squadb. If you have Facebook, go and like us on that and we should be eternally grateful. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.